Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, December 11th, coming to you live from Seoul. I'm Kim Mo-kyun. Before we get started, these are the stories we're following at the top of the hour. A U.S. Food and Drug Administration panel has recommended that emergency use authorization be issued for the COVID-19 vaccine being developed by Pfizer and BioNTech. South Korea reports 689 new cases Friday, becoming the day with the second highest caseload following 909 cases in late February. And BTS has been named Entertainer of the Year by Time magazine. The magazine called the boy band not just the biggest K-pop act in the charts, but the biggest band in the world. We begin with the COVID-19 situation here in South Korea. The country reported 689 new cases Friday, the second highest day of the daily total pandemic. The highest was 909 posted in late February. There have been large numbers of infections from places where people are in daily contact, such as schools, workplaces, hospitals, and small gatherings. Of the new cases, 673 were locally transmitted, most in the greater capital area. 16 were from overseas, and there have been more than 8 deaths, bringing the death toll to 572. The U.S. may begin rolling out vaccines in the coming days as the advisory panel to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has voted to support the emergency use authorization of Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine. This comes just a day after the U.S. reported its highest number of COVID-19 deaths since the outbreak of the pandemic. Our Min Soo-kyun reports.
The advisory panel to the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has recommended that emergency use authorization for Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine be issued. After a day-long discussion on Thursday, the committee had to decide whether the benefits of the vaccine outweigh the risk for use in people 16 years and older. Among the 22 members, 17 voted in favor, while only 4 voted against and 1 abstained. While the FDA does not have to accept the panel's recommendation, it's widely expected that they will. Once endorsed, the advisory committee to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention will have their turn to review Pfizer's vaccine before any doses are made available. The CDC's advisory committee plans to meet virtually on Friday and will likely vote on Sunday. If the panel votes in favor, then the U.S. will be rolling out vaccines in the coming months or even days. The news of the possibility of a vaccine in the U.S. comes just a day after the country reported its highest number of COVID-19 deaths since the outbreak of the pandemic. On Wednesday, 3,053 Americans died from the virus, breaking the previous all-time record in just a week. Also, over 106,000 COVID-19 patients were hospitalized, again breaking the record set the previous day. The U.S. continues to lead the world with more than 15.5 million cases and over 290,000 deaths from the coronavirus. Min Soo-kyun, Arirang News.
U.S. President-elect Joe Biden has announced more of his cabinet picks, including a top domestic policy coordinator and trade negotiator. And the picks continue to reflect his efforts to assemble a diverse cabinet, fulfilling a pledge made before the election. Lee Kyung-eun has the details.
Appointees to more key government posts have been named for the incoming Biden administration in January. On Thursday, U.S. President-elect Joe Biden tapped former National Security Advisor Susan Rice to lead the White House Domestic Policy Council. Rice will oversee Biden's so-called Build Back Better agenda with a focus on racial injustice, immigration, and health care. CNN and other media outlets call the appointment a surprising move, given Rice's longtime foreign policy experience. She served as U.S. ambassador to the UN, then as the National Security Advisor during Barack Obama's administration. And watch her say installing a high-profile Biden ally in the Domestic Policy Council could elevate its influence, which is relatively low under the Trump administration. Although largely unpopular among Republicans, Rice can comfortably transition into the White House position as the post does not require Senate confirmation. Biden also picked 2 other women of color. Catherine Tai, a Chinese-American expert in international trade, has been named as the U.S. Trade Representative. Thai is also known for supporting a hardline policy against China. Marcia Fudge, an African-American representative for Ohio, has been chosen as the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. Dennis McDonough, Obama's chief of staff, has been chosen to run the Veterans Affairs Department. Biden's latest picks reflect his previous promise to form a diverse administration. At the same time, they also reflect his efforts to bring back former Obama administration officials. Young-eun, Arirang News.
The Trump administration's point man on North Korea has vowed to press his successors to continue trying to engage with the regime. Stephen Biegun, who arrived in Seoul earlier this week, said he believes diplomacy is the only way to address the nuclear issue. Our Foreign Ministry correspondent Heung-min reports.
Mentioning the 2018 Singapore summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-un and U.S. President Donald Trump, Deputy Secretary of State Stephen Biegun said its potential regarding denuclearization can still be realized.
Regrettably, much opportunity has been squandered by our North Korean counterparts over the past 2 years. Yet, remarkably, the potential of the Singapore summit is still fully present, despite our failure to advance what was agreed.
Giving a lecture in Seoul on Thursday, Biegun was asked what advice he would give to the incoming Biden administration, to which said he would encourage all parties to continue with a sense of urgency and priority to seek opportunities for Pyongyang and Washington. He also said that diplomacy is still the best way to resolve challenges regarding North Korea.
Pyongyang has some pivotal events coming up, in particular the 8th Party Congress in January. We strongly encourage the North Koreans to use the time between now and then to set a path for the resumption of diplomacy.
Regarding the Hanoi summit in 2019 that fell apart, Biegun said they didn't have enough time to fully explore the limits of what might be possible, in part because the North Korean negotiating team was not empowered to discuss those issues. He added that they need to develop trust in order to explore more parameters and details. On Thursday, Seoul's Vice Foreign Minister Choi Jong-gun had a dinner with Biegun and his team, serving them Korean chicken stew called dakhanmari, one of Biegun's favorite Korean dishes. On Friday, Biegun will meet his counterpart Lee Do-hun for a luncheon and Foreign Minister Kang Kyung-hwa for a banquet. He is due to leave Seoul early on Saturday. Yoon Jung-min, Arirang News.
President Moon Jae-in pledged to make the country carbon neutral by 2050. In a televised speech, the South Korean leader vowed to support switching primary energy source to renewable energy. Our Blue House correspondent Kim Min-ji shares with us his remarks.
South Korea will do all it can to go carbon neutral by 2050. Declared by President Moon Jae-in during a televised speech on Thursday evening, he said it will be an opportunity for the country to emerge as a pace-setter and set a global example. Moon said the government's Green New Deal initiative will be the nation's first step toward the ambitious goal.
전 세계적인 기후 위기 대응을 포용적이며 지속 가능한 성장의 기회로 삼아 능동적으로 혁신하며 국제사회를 선도하는 것이 목표입니다. 우리 아이들의 건강하고 넉넉한 미래를 만들어가는 것입니다.
The government will push for carbon neutrality in all areas of industry, economy, and society, and foster 3 new energy industries: renewable energy, hydrogen, and energy IT. The government will create a low-carbon industry ecosystem by stepping up support for promising companies and creating a platform where large companies and startups can work together. It will also draw up tailored strategies to make sure that no one gets left behind.
우리 정부에서 기틀을 세울 수 있도록 말씀드린 3가지 목표를 달성하기 위해 과감히 투자하겠습니다. 기술 개발을 확대하고 연구 개발 지원을 대폭 강화하겠습니다. 탄소 중립 친화적 재정 프로그램을 구축하고 그린 뉴딜에 국민들의 참여가 활발해질 수 있도록 녹색 금융과 펀드 활성화에도 적극 나서겠습니다.
The footage was aired in black and white to highlight the importance of carbon neutrality. The development of 4K ultra-high-definition televisions and 5G technology have paved the way for high-quality imagery, but has also increased carbon use. Moon also wore a tie made from recycled plastic waste. The South Korean president said that it will be a difficult task, noting the country's heavy reliance on manufacturing, calling for small action from each and every citizen, saying that we can change our tomorrow depending on what we do today. 김민지, Arirang News.
South Korea's exports in the first 10 days of December increased compared to last year, despite the economic fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Korea Customs Service on Friday, the country's outbound shipments sit at $16.3 billion in the first 10 days of this month. This is up 26.9% from the same period last year. The daily average exports also gained 11.9% on year. Shipments of semiconductors, cars, and wireless communication devices were up on year, while exports of petroleum products were down. South Korea's most famous boy band, BTS, has been named Entertainer of the Year by The Time magazine. In a Twitter post, the influential magazine said BTS isn't just the biggest K-pop act on the charts, but have become the biggest band in the world, full stop. It added that the band broke every type of record in 2020 and ascended to the zenith of pop stardom. The boy band had a record year of two of its songs, Dynamite and Life Goes On, debuting top of Billboard's main singles chart, the Hot 100. The group also won the Top Social Artist Award at the Billboard Music Awards this year and also has a chance to grasp the Grammy Award for Best Pop Duo Group Performance set for late January. Tottenham Hotspur's South Korean forward Heung-min has become the first Asian player to make the shortlist for the 2020 FIFA-FIFPro World 11 for 2 consecutive years. Following on from last year, Son has again made an impressive appearance on the nominees list of 55 professional football players. He will be competing with 14 others, including Tottenham's Harry Kane, Juventus' Cristiano Ronaldo for the forward slot. Ji So-yeon of Chelsea FC Women has also been named as the first South Korean to make the shortlist for the 2020 FIFA-FIFPro Women's World 11. The final 2019-2020 season World 11 will be announced on December 17th.
Good morning. While the cold snap is taking a short break, nasty air is causing headache for many with an ultra-fine dust advisory issued for here in Seoul. So other than the Jeollanam-do and Gyeongsang-nam-do provinces, the rest of us will be suffering from toxic dust today. In fact, western parts of the country will have dusty air tomorrow as well. And temperature-wise, we won't need thick jackets until the weekend. Temperatures will be higher than the season norms, but Sunday's mix of rain and snow will mark the start of a freezing weather pattern. But for today, daily highs will hit similar ranges to yesterday, with lots of clouds hanging over the peninsula. Daegu and Gyeongju will get up to 12 degrees, Busan topping out at 14 degrees Celsius this afternoon. So a mix of rain and snow is on tap for Sunday in most parts. The amount will not be a lot, but it's going to trigger intense winter cold early next week to the country. That's Korea for you, and here's a look at the weather conditions around the world.
And that's a wrap for us at the hour on Arirang News. I'll be back with more of the day's headlines at noon Korea time, so stay tuned. Thank you for watching and goodbye.